Hello! Welcome back to the Parent Empowerment and Coaching in Early Intervention, or PEACE, Implementation Toolkit video series. Today, we're going to talk about a caregiver coaching strategy called reflection and problem solving. Reflecting and problem solving with caregivers involves asking a caregiver how it's going with the things they're learning in sessions and talking about anything they're having trouble with. If a caregiver brings up challenges with using intervention strategies, an important part of reflection is figuring out ways to overcome those challenges by problem solving with them. As providers, we know that everything doesn't always go perfectly during sessions, and that some strategies may be more difficult for caregivers to learn than others. Creating a space for caregivers to think about and discuss what's working and what's not working for them when they use strategies with their child is essential to helping them become more confident in their use of these strategies. Let's go over some of the key components of reflection and problem solving. An important part of reflecting and problem solving with caregivers during sessions is to explicitly ask the caregiver questions about how they're using the strategies or how their child is responding to the strategies. You can do this by asking questions like, how are you working on communication with him throughout the week? Or, how did he react when you told him you were all done with the blocks? Let's take a look at some examples of providers asking caregivers questions about their use of techniques during actual sessions.
So his goal, Allison, is to respond to language so he can engage with his family. How do you feel he's accomplishing that?
Oh, wow. So when you imitate her, how does she communicate with you? How does she respond to it?
The key takeaway is that in both of these clips, the provider asks the caregiver to reflect on their use of specific strategies that they've been practicing during sessions. Another key component of reflecting and problem solving with caregivers is to listen to what the caregiver has to say. Caregivers should feel comfortable sharing their problems and concerns about techniques with you. Allow them to voice these concerns with you so that you have all the information you need to help them come up with possible solutions. If you're working with a shy parent or one who's not likely to offer information, make sure you create opportunities for the caregiver to share their perspective with you by commenting on the things you see going well and asking for their thoughts and ideas about how the techniques are going. Here's an example of a provider listening to what a caregiver has to say.
You say, what went well with this? What do you think went well with this strategy?
Him showing that he wanted the cup.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because usually he'll just get up and walk away.
Yeah, he will. No, that's true though. What was hard about it, Mom?
Huh?
What made it hard?
I guess not knowing when to give it to him or when to get in, I guess.
Right. I was about to say the wait time.
In this video clip, we observe the provider creating an opportunity for the caregiver to share what went well and things that were challenging when using a strategy. When reflecting and problem solving with caregivers, you should also discuss ways to overcome challenges to using the strategies. Collaborate with caregivers to come up with solutions to challenges that work well for their family and will make using the strategy with the child more effective. Be creative when you're problem solving with caregivers. Sometimes, the best solutions are those that come from thinking outside of the box. The most important part of this is that we help the caregivers see there are things we can do to overcome obstacles if we work together, and that we don't want to quit using strategies if they're hard. Instead of quitting, we'll work together to figure out how to deal with the challenges they're facing. Let's watch a provider and caregiver discuss ways to overcome challenges during an actual session.
That can help.
Mm-hmm. That's a great idea. What do you think would be hard about bringing in the cars?
Him not wanting to participate playing with the cars because he's not too into playing with the cars. He might have one, so I might bring the two small ones that he really likes and make maybe that one, bringing just two more. I don't want to overwhelm him with a lot of cars. and just bring in maybe two more with the two that he really likes. Maybe that gets
Okay.
him interested.
Something else you can do that you've mentioned to me in the past is letting him play with them on his own before you do a structured play.
The key takeaway here is that the provider explicitly asks the caregiver about challenges that might come up when using a strategy and then problem solves with them in a collaborative manner. The next key component to reflecting and problem solving with caregivers during sessions is to answer caregiver concerns. Once you listen to what the caregiver has to say, it's important to try and help them think of solutions to their challenges. You may not always know the answer or even have an idea about how to overcome their challenges, but if you are empathetic and take the time to listen to them, you're strengthening your alliance and working relationship with the family, which is essential to effective coaching. Lastly, evaluate progress with the caregiver. Reflecting on the child's progress will allow both you and the caregiver to identify any areas that may need to be focused on during sessions going forward. Reflection is not just talking about challenges. It's also really important to reflect on the progress caregivers and their children have made. It's easy to focus on what's not working or what's hard, but reminding the caregiver of all the progress they're making is a critical way to remind them of the benefits of their hard work. Here are some examples of how providers evaluated progress with caregivers during sessions.
Great job, Jace.
That's two new things he learned, right? Pulling it with the string and then pushing the ball in.
I saw
Good.
and
Good
heard you say, take a drink, and he immediately grabbed his cup and took a drink. So he's recognizing those instructions.
Yeah.
And he's following your instructions, which is great. So I think you keep doing what you're doing.
I don't think he's ever engaged in one activity like this for this long.
In each of these examples, the provider points out to the caregiver the progress their child has made with a specific skill they've been working on during sessions. Reflecting and problem solving with caregivers has several benefits. It helps caregivers overcome barriers to using the intervention techniques. It highlights the caregiver's and child's progress. And reflecting and problem solving with families strengthens the relationship between the caregiver and provider. Reflecting and problem solving with caregivers is an essential part of effective caregiver coaching. When reflection and problem solving is implemented well, it's natural and often happens throughout the session instead of just at the end or beginning of the session. It should feel like a collaborative discussion. Reflecting with caregivers helps them learn the best ways to support their child outside of sessions with you and improve upon the skills you're teaching them in coaching sessions. Do you have any questions or ideas you'd like to share with us? We'd love to hear them. Please email us at peacestudy@pennmedicine.upenn.edu. Thank you so much for watching.